the sensation of space travel, the vastness of the universe, and the challenges that come with it. Today, we celebrate an incredible journey of astronaut Sunita Williams, who returned to Earth after an unexpected 9-month mission aboard the International Space Station. Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore thought they were going to space just for 8 days, but they ended up being stuck for 286 days. These NASA astronauts, part of the Crew 9 mission in space, and their safe return caught global attention as the short mission was turned into a 9-long-month ordeal. They were forced to stay in the space as the Boeing Star Liner capsule, which took them to ISS, developed problems with its propulsion system. They were literally stranded in space. Imagine this. You pack for a short trip, but instead you are gone for almost a year. No fresh air, no real food, no way out, just waiting in the void of space. No clear answer to when or even whether they will make it at all to home. Even a 10-minute traffic jam ruins our day here. We lose patience when we return home after a month vacation, like setting right those pell-mell at home to normalcy. And when a deal gets delayed by a few months, that is the end of our project. Why? Even a rejection email makes us want to quit. But we will see in this video either saving of Sunita or Starliner. Which one is NASA's priority? What really happened? Why were they delayed? How was the grand rescue? And more importantly, the great capacity of humans to survive. But the question remains whether the testing flight is a failure or a success. How NASA ultimately solved this dilemma. Please watch till the end, as there are many scintillating moments, and you might be curious to know what really happened at each and every stage. Many spaceships ferry the cargo to ISS as a matter of routine, as a commercial endeavor, delivering supplies, science equipment, and hardware. It looks maybe if this is going to become more common with frequent trips to space. We will always have a spare rocket in the garage, just in case of spaceship breakdown. A day will come as if we travel in a Mofussil bus to places on demand. But why Sunita's return after that prolonged space stay created sharpening of interest and became a point of global attention and political debate? It looks quite interesting to trace the story from the day they started the journey until they returned back. I am reconstructing chronologically what really happened. June 5, 2024, NASA astronauts Sunita and Butch were in Starliner capsule, lifted off by rockets. Their destination was to International Space Station, which has been in orbit since November 20, 1998. This International Space Station is a research laboratory and home for humans in space. The ISS is operated by United States, Russia, Japan, Canada, and the European Space Agency. The purpose of this lab is to enable long-term space exploration and to benefit humanity on Earth. This ISS orbits Earth at an altitude of about 400 kilometers from Earth. You are right, 400 kilometers sounds really close compared to deep space. But the International Space Station is actually the perfect lab than on the Earth for groundbreaking research that is not possible on Earth. Even though 400 kilometers is close, it is far enough to remove gravity's efforts because ISS orbits Earth at a great speed of 28,000 km per hour. This lets scientists test space tech, prepare for deep space missions, and develop new medicines. Atmosphere gets exponentially thinner with height. The air there is very sparse. No breathable oxygen for humans, with high temperatures up to 2500 centigrade due to solar radiation. But it feels cold because there are very few molecules to transfer heat. Objects and astronauts feel weightless, not because gravity is weak, but because they are in free fall around Earth. Would you survive at 400 kilometers? Not without a space suit. In a space suit, astronauts have pressurized oxygen so their BP stays normal. But once inside the ISS, a space suit is not necessary because the station is pressurized and has an Earth-like atmosphere. The ISS is like a sealed cabin with life support systems. Space suits are only needed for spacewalks or emergencies like a depressurization. Inside the ISS, you can breathe, eat, sleep, and move around normally without a space suit. But of course, just floating due to microgravity. But living in space is wild. Details of Sunita Williams' expedition. Mission: Boeing Star Liner crew flight test. Launch date: June 5, 2024. Destination: International Space Station. For a limited purpose of only a testing and certifying the Boeing's Starliner spacecraft capability for future and regular crewed missions. Yes, while the purpose of mission was only to test the capability of spacecraft for docking and undocking with the ISS, that is where it erupted into snags and technical issues like helium leaks and thruster firing problems. Helium itself is not the fuel, but it is used to force the fuel through the system, since liquid fuels do not flow naturally in microgravity. Thrusters are small rocket engines that help the spacecraft maneuver in space. They are critical for docking, undocking, changing speed and direction while in space. The issue was discovered when some thrusters did not fire as expected. It is critical for re-entry of Sunita team. NASA engineers say malfunctioning thrusters could cause unstable descent, leading to an incorrect re-entry angle, either too steep with dangerous heat or friction, or too shallow, bouncing off the atmosphere. Also, thrusters are needed to properly position the heat shield and parachutes for landing. So, astronauts' safety first, and Sunita team could not return immediately as the spacecraft need to be fixed. NASA and Boeing were testing alternative thruster firing sequences and monitoring helium leaks to ensure a safe and controlled return for Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore. Assuming it is fixed remotely from ground, they needed to make hundreds of sanity tests because the spacecraft need to deorbit by burning rockets and re-enter. And if thrusters fail at that critical moment, it could jeopardize the landing. NASA wanted to ensure everything is stable before giving the green light for the team. Well, a question may arise: why the astronauts are stranded for no fault of theirs? Here are the reasons. Number one, the mission purpose is only to test the safe docking to and undocking from the ISS. so that future space journey can be seamless. It's like traveling in omnibus frequently to your native place. Is there enough bus bay to park in bus stand junction? And how easy it is to maneuver to stop? Number 2. Of course, there are multiple docking ports in ISS, like you have many ports in your mobile phone. Number 3. But it is not that easy to send another spacecraft from Earth to rescue the astronauts, simply because there are spare ports for docking. Number 4. Also, there are many protocols for launching spacecrafts, scheduling the launch, and the next crew team readiness. Now, struck with the dilemma, NASA have only 3 options to save Sunita team and the Boeing Star Liner spaceship. Number 1. Preferred option is the safe return after fixes. If NASA and Boeing resolve the thruster issues and helium leaks, Starliner will return with Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore as planned. Sunita and Starliner both are saved. Number 2. Backup option. Since it is too risky to depend on Starliner, better to bring back astronauts via alternative spare vehicle, namely SpaceX Crew Dragon. Number 3. Deorbit and destroy Starliner. As a last resort, if Starliner is deemed unsafe for return, even unmanned, it could be deorbited without a crew and allowed to burn up in the atmosphere to prevent space debris. Or the Starliner could be brought back unmanned after fixing the issues. NASA and Boeing decided it was too risky to bring astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams back aboard the Starliner due to propelling malfunctions. So engineers attempted to bring back the Starliner without astronauts. Engineers addressed the technical issues and Boeing's Starliner spacecraft at last undocked from the International Space Station on September 6, 2024 and landed safely in New Mexico on September 7, 2024. But without Sunita team, obviously. Now, having missed the last bus, Sunita and Williams have no alternative but to wait in ISS bus depot for the next bus to ferry them back to the Earth until March 2025. And the rest is history. NASA deployed the SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft built in Elon Musk's company to bring back the astronauts safely to the Earth, which whole world watched with a nail-biting suspense on Tuesday, March 18, 2025. Did you notice these astronauts had no control over their situation? They could not just book a return flight. They had to adapt, stay calm, and trust the process for 268 days of uncertainty. And finally, they made it. If that is not the ultimate lesson in patience, endurance, and problem solving, I don't know what else is. Hats off to these legends for not just surviving, but making history. Next time, when life throws unexpected delays at us, let us remember, at least we are not stranded in space. Life will throw all curveballs. Your plans will go sideways. Things will take way longer than expected. But when these astronauts can survive 9 months in space, you and I can handle a few detours in life, right? Thanks for patiently watching till the end for this grand human capacity to survive. Please wait for the next video for more such stories.